Good morning. Thank you so much. I'm so honored and blessed to be here this morning. I'm very excited about what I'm talking about this morning because it's passionate and very dear to my heart, and that's wellness. I know that Erin is discussing cultivating compassion with all of you, and she felt that talking about cultivating wellness would be something that would be very integral to the cultivating compassion, because when you cultivate wellness within yourself, you are taking care of yourself, and self-care is so important because in order to be compassionate and to give to others, you first have to be compassionate and be able to give to yourself. So I hope a little bit of what I say to you this morning will resonate with you and that you'll find some sort of connection with the wellness and the compassion. I have spent probably more than 19 years trying to cultivate myself so I could take this position of general manager of Awaken Whole Life Center. I see it not just as a job that I do, that I go to work every day, but it's part of my mission. And I feel really lucky that my mission is also my job, and I love what I do. So, give you a little bit of definition about wellness. The World Health Organization states that wellness is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and it is not merely the absence of disease and infirmity. It's an active process of becoming aware and of making choices toward a healthy and a fulfilling life, which I think is important. Wellness is not only health, but it's all about fulfillment as well. Wellness is our inner healthy spirit, and it imbues vitality, clarity, and inner calm. It's our sense of well-being. It is our whole self, our entire body, our mind, and our spirit. So our sense of well-being, your sense of well-being, my sense of well-being, it affects, and it's also affected by everything. So what we say, what we think, and what we do. All of our actions, all of our thoughts, and all of our words are part of our everyday well-being. And it is very important to notice how we treat ourselves, we treat others, and we treat our environment. Wellness is a dynamic process of consistent change and growth, and it is multidimensional. And this morning, here today, we're with all the youth, and that was such a beautiful violin solo, which I don't see her where she went. It was absolutely amazing to hear that. Let It Go, and the Frozen movie is so popular with the kids right now, and I feel that Let It Go allows adults and it allows youth to kind of get in touch with themselves, to be who they truly are and not really worry. If we're showing our truth to the world, I think we're giving a better representation and we're doing better self-care and we're finding a lot of wellness with ourselves. So this is kind of a really good connection to what's going on today. So wellness is multidimensional, and you need to look at a lot of different aspects. And the main aspects that you need to look at when you're looking at overall wellness of yourself is the physical, emotional, intellectual, spiritual, social, environmental, and occupational. So there's all those aspects. Think of a big wheel, break it up into 7 different parts, and then look at your life, no matter what age you are. And you can start, and you've got to look at every different aspect. So the physical is easy, right? It's our body. It's maintaining that healthy body, seeking the medical help when it's needed. And physical is also daily physical movement. So no matter what you do, you take a walk out in nature, you garden, whatever it is, some sort of daily movement, giving your body the physical activity that it needs. It's also nutrition. It's the foods we eat. It's what we put into our body. It's the nutrition of food. It's the nutrition of our mind. So it's important when we look at where we live. And as we get into spring and we start to see the Unity Gardens and other gardens opening up, community-supported agriculture, eating local, eating nutrition, and showing that to our children as well, being representations for the younger ones by doing as we would want and giving them the best opportunities for their future. Emotional. So a lot of people think emotional is something that maybe we should hide behind, because emotion, that word emotional, means someone's, oh, she's so emotional. She cries a lot. No, emotional is really understanding your emotions and learning how to cope effectively with them and with stress. And remember, stress has become such a bad word these days, but there's also good stress. So when we say, oh, I'm so stressed, is it good stress or is it bad stress? Because good stress can motivate you. Good stress can keep you driving towards your goals. Bad stress, how do we cope with it? So we come here, we come together as a community to meditate, to do affirmations, to pray together, to share with one another. Emotional is also our sense of self, our self-care. It's maybe working with people outside of yourself to really understand your emotions and deal with the stress effectively, whether that's counselors, coaches, ministers, therapists, communities, friends, family, but someone that you can reach out to so you can really find how you can cope with your stress and emotions. Intellectual, very important, having an open mind and encountering new ideas and continue to expand your knowledge. We are never too old to learn, okay? And you're never too young to learn. Continuous learning, continuous education, gaining knowledge. Every moment the world is shifting continuously, consistently, constantly. What's the only constant? Change. So we have to keep educating ourselves and keep learning. And that's why it's so important to be in a like-minded community like ourselves so we can share with each other. I can learn from you. Maybe you can learn from me. But together, it's a collective. We're going to educate each other and we're going to learn new things. And I think continuing to be a student of life, maybe not just textbooks and maybe not just what we learn at school, but a student of life, sharing people, you know, not just our iPads and our phones and technology, but putting those things down and looking at someone eye to eye and spending that moment and making them feel like I am with you right here, right now. And I'm going to take my time to listen to what you have to say or just be with you. So, so important. And I think that's part of continuing to be a student of life. Spiritual. Obviously, that's a big part when we say body, mind, and spirit, but we're looking at 7 different aspects today. So spiritual can be a lot to everybody, and I like to say it's a set of values that help you seek meaning and purpose. So what is spirit to you? How do you express spirit? And what connects you to spirit? And no matter what anyone in the world, how they may express themselves or connect themselves or what they feel spirit is, we acknowledge that in them just as I would expect them to acknowledge it in me, because it's a beauty, whatever that process may be, it's their connection to spirit. So we've talked about physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual. The last 3 that is really important is social. So performing social roles effectively and comfortably and creating a support network. So getting involved with our community, getting involved with a cause, being a part of a community such as this, creating your support network, and I think finding those who you feel would be there for you when you weren't even there for yourself. And that's such an interesting thing to think about. You know, I can be there for someone else. There's so many times when we're not even there for our own selves and we do not realizing it. And when you have a community, they might be able to realize it and say, I sense something, I feel something, I'm here for you. And that is the social aspect. It's not just going out to parties and dancing and being the hip person in the room when you walk into a room. The social aspect is your community, and it is finding those people that you feel accept you for who you are in this moment. Environmental, respecting the delicate balance between the environment and the self. This is so important, especially today for our youth. I want to leave the world a very healthy, happy, beautiful place for my son as he grows up. He's 6, he's here. I want him to laugh and sing and dance and still every day find the beauty in the things that he might not be experiencing as he's going to school and he's learning all the things that we have to kind of combat. But understanding that what we do for our environment, how we help our environment, is going to help future generations. And being a support rather than hindrance. So how can we support the environment? What can we do? Every single person, right? No matter what you do, one thing, and that's going to change. And if all of us did one thing, right? It's going to be that, just roll it forward and we're all going to do something and we're going to help the environment. And then occupational. So enjoying your occupational endeavors and appreciate your contributions. I like to think of the poem Desiderata, and it states this: keep interested in your career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. So however humble, whatever your job may be, Dan Millman, who will be coming here in September and speaking to you as well, he used to talk about, he learned everything he needed to know from a gas station attendant. Because it doesn't matter what you do if you affect one person's life positively and you find something in your career that you're humble about it, you enjoy it. That motto right now that's going around, oh, do what you love, that mantra that everyone's talking about, do what you love. Very, very wonderful thing to think of, and a little bit utopian in a sense, because it sometimes can be a devaluation of people's work. There are people that do their job, they might not be fully in love with it. It might not be exactly what they love, whether it's landscaping, working at McDonald's, whatever it is, but it might give them the opportunity to do the work, meaning what they love outside. We all have to find a means. So I think it's just important that we look at our occupation and we appreciate our contributions and other contributions. So this is kind of an overall picture of wellness. And I'm inviting up my husband, Sebastian Hitzig, to tell you his story, because I think his story really supports how we cultivate wellness in our lives on a daily basis and why it's so important. So I'm not going to say anything else, but I really wanted to share this all with you. I thank you for your time, and Sebastian, come on up. You don't need your paper?
I'm good. Yeah. Thank you, Tara. Thank you, Evans, by the way. In the past week, Evans and I have not only done an amazing drum circle, but he's also just turned me into a tree. I thought that was pretty neat. So I do have firsthand experience, I believe, in cultivating wellness. I was sort of forced down that road. October 14th of 1995 is when it began for me. I had stepped on a toothpick. I had a staph infection in my foot. I treated my foot. 8 months later, October 14th of 1995, that staph infection ended up going into my heart. I contracted what was called bacterial endocarditis. I had open heart surgery, 2 strokes, a valve replaced, and a pacemaker put in. This was all in the course of 3 months. And it was all from a simple staph infection, from stepping on a toothpick. Because they asked my mom and dad, was there anything that he had been doing? Had he had a lot of questions. Had he had any major infections? And they said, yeah, there was that toothpick. So it was a toothpick that began my journey. And so I found that all of a sudden I was forced into this world that I never thought I was going to have to be at the age of 23, of having to cultivate wellness. Because the most amazing day for me, and I'm sure there's some in this room that have experienced this, is the day you are checked out of a hospital. You all of a sudden are given a prescription. They tell you to call back in 3 months, 6 months, but you don't feel like the same person. And that was my case. I didn't feel like the same Sebastian. Within 93 days, my whole life had changed. I started to seek out wellness. I started to seek out how I could get better, mentally, physically, spiritually. A year to the day that I was released from the hospital, a little bit over a year to the day, October 20th of 1996, here I thought everything was well, and I was working out, and all of a sudden I felt my heart go like this. Well, it did that for about 15 seconds, and it stopped beating. Luckily, I was saved by the Los Angeles Fire Department, who came and they shocked me with one shock from an external defibrillator. If you don't know what an external defibrillator is, take a look out for them, because not only was I saved by that external defibrillator, a $3,000 device that gave me back my dreams, my hopes, my wishes. But it was also an innocent bystander that came by and gave me CPR and kept my heart, the blood flowing to my heart. So I suggest CPR is a beautiful thing, and if you don't know it, let's learn it. But I woke up again in the hospital and I realized, my goodness, I've got to figure out a way to seek out this wellness and cultivate wellness for myself. I found a beauty in the powerlessness that I found. I found that I was given this journey that I could experience wellness, that I could seek it out, that I could somehow figure out, wow, I could make myself better. And so way before I got sick, I'd found this thing called meditation. And meditation to me was this beautiful tool. And I started to meditate in 1991 and kind of would do it off and on. And I really found that it was a beautiful way to quiet the mind, because for me, when I was sick, the going into the hospital wasn't the hard part. It was leaving the hospital and hearing that chitter chatter and my mind talking, what we call in Buddhism, Mara. Things were not going to go well is what my mind was telling me. But I felt deep down that something was going to be okay. I knew that things were going to be all right. And so meditation was this beautiful tool that I found. And I found that I could meditate doing the dishes. I could meditate walking in the park. I could meditate, all it was focusing on breath. My meditation today is very, very simple. I just see if I can focus on my breath and I count to 10. And if I can count to 10 without having some sort of thought jump into my mind, then that's a successful meditation to me. I don't think I've ever made it to 10, by the way, in case you're all wondering. It's hard. I went back for surgery. I had been given the gift of my valve was replaced, and I was given the gift of a human tissue valve, a homeograph. So I was very lucky. Unfortunately, that gave out, and I had to go back in for open heart surgery. They had to open up the chest again, and they had to give me, I had to go through this surgery. And so now I've got this little clicking, beautiful mechanical valve. And that's when meditation became very, very important to me, because I was diagnosed with heart failure. My ejection fraction was very, very slow, very, very low. But I was blessed. I was blessed with medical technology, and I was given this great second, third, some say fourth chance. I've begun a nonprofit called Silent Strength. Silent Strength is about meditation. Silent Strength is about working with others with major illnesses that I teach them meditation. I teach them how to quiet the mind. And it's been a really beautiful gift. I've been working with both yoga studios. Now we're hopefully working with Truman, and just trying to help patients walk through this journey. It's very, very important to me, because for me, cultivating wellness is about cultivating it in the mind, the body, and the spirit. We all will have a different way to do that. We all have different ways in which we can find that. As I said, washing dishes might work for some. Walking over Legacy Park may work for others. Walking on a treadmill might work for some. But I think the key to it is finding something that resonates with you. This Tuesday at 5:15 at Awaken, I'm going to start a meditation group. And I would encourage each and every one of you to just try it. It's very simple. All it is focusing on breath. I promise I won't scare you off. And it's donation-based. If you get the chance to come, I would love to see each and every one of you. But as I said, I implore each and every one of you to find something that resonates with you so that you can cultivate wellness for yourself. Thank you very much for letting me share my story today.